Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So there's lots to negotiate on this video today, but just going to give you a bit more additional information in regards to Paul Pogba, as they have been updating you on a regular basis, and I'm also going to give you my opinions on why I think Manchester United of course should sell Paul Pogba. So potentially we do know that it's very imminent that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving the football club, as you all know. Obviously it confirmed a day ago that Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, he came out and said, that Paul Pogba, wants to leave Manchester United. Obviously Paul Pogba has been absent from pre-season training this week. Obviously, that's added more speculation in regards to Paul Pogba's long-term future. I think it did say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is set to hold talks with Paul Pogba in regards to his future and all that. But obviously, reports suggested out last month, that Paul Pogba said, he's seeking for a new challenge, and he publicly admitted, that he wants to leave Manchester United for the first time, and he even did say at one point that Paul Pogba, was even willing to go on strike, to force him move away from Manchester United. But he did say Paul Pogba anyway was gonna, ask Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to allow him to leave the football club, and maybe a couple of main factors why Paul Pogba wants to leave, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players, and he isn't playing amongst good enough players at Manchester United. Maybe he wants to be in Champions League football and all that. And like I did say, that we're not in Champions League football. It's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level, and it's also going to be hard for us, to convince our imperative players to stay at the football club. Maybe he wants to be winning trophies and all that and competing, and he's not experiencing any of this at Manchester United. So maybe Paul Pogba is frustrated with the lack of competitiveness. Obviously, we've indicated out that Paul Pogba is not for sale, but he did say, we would accept a bid in the region of around £150 million for him. And even though Paul Pogba hasn't been the fundamental player, as we all thought, he would have been, I'd still say in this market, in this day and age, he's probably worth in the region of up to 140 or 150 million pounds. But we do know it's Real Madrid and Juventus, of course, that are battling out for his services. Paul Pogba's first choice preference for quite some time has been Real Madrid, and his likely destination, of course, has been Real Madrid. But like I said, Real Madrid are not willing to pay up to 150 million pounds for his services. And I know myself how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is, but I think we basically we need to sell Paul Pogba, because I think it will help us with our rebuilding process. I think it will also help us with our transition. And like I did say to you, as I've been saying to you on videos, I think we have been mainly focusing so far in the entirety of this window, what players we're going to bring in and all that. But I think we need to focus on selling players, to help the club generate funds and rebuild the squad, because don't forget, we've allegedly but only been given £100 million to spend, and like I said, £100 million is nowhere near enough for us to address the deficiencies in the squad. It's nowhere near enough enough for us to bring a number of players that we do currently want in. So I think we need to currently sell players, like I currently said. So obviously, so far this summer, we've got two players on the board. Obviously, it's our first two signings under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Obviously, got Daniel James for £18 million. Obviously, got Wan-Bissaka in a deal with £50 million. So far this summer, that's taken Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend up to around £65 million and all that. But Solskjaer's obviously going to want to build on this. He's going to want to bring at least 3 more new additions to the squad. Obviously, he wants to get a central defender in. Solskjaer wants to get an experienced centre half in, and also he want to add reinforcements in that midfield. So I do believe now these are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities. But I think even regardless of what happens with Paul Pogba anywhere, I still think it's in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to recommend 2 new midfielders in and all that. But Paul Pogba has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, Real Madrid want to get a deal more of the line for him. Like I said, Real Madrid are not keen on a straight cash payment, but I still believe it's one of Zinedine Zidane's main priority targets. So far this summer, Real Madrid has spent over £300 million on 5 players. The vast majority of that, went on Eden Hazard, because they did pay £150 million for Eden Hazard. But reflecting back quite some time back, Paul Pogba did say at some point in his career, he wants to play for Real Madrid, and he did classify Real Madrid as one of the biggest clubs in the world and all that. But reportedly now, it did say, as he updated you the other day, that reportedly Real Madrid are willing to offer £72 million for Paul Pogba. And they're willing to offer £72 million for Paul Pogba. Plus, they're willing to offer us the choice between Gareth Bale and Isco for Paul Pogba and all that. Whether Manchester United would would be willing to accept this bid or not, I do not know. But he did say Real Madrid will offer £72 million, and plus they'll give us the choice, between Gareth Bale and Isco and all that. Whether Manchester United, like I said, will entertain this offer or not, I do not know. I think Real Madrid are definitely desperate, to include Gareth Bale in their bid, to currently sign Paul Pogba. But like I did say with Gareth Bale, I don't want him at Manchester United. I don't want him as part of the deal with Paul Pogba, because you do know I've got strong reservations now about Gareth Bale. Maybe I would have took Gareth Bale at Manchester United, a couple of years ago. And we do know that Gareth Bale has been relentlessly, linked to a move away from Real Madrid. He has been relentlessly, linked to a move to Manchester United since 2012, 2013, and of course the rumours have continued to persist since that point and all that. I mean, Gareth Bale has been inconsistent in his last couple of seasons with Real Madrid, but the couple of main factors why I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United, he's too injury prone. He's been, like I said, he's been inconsistent in the last couple of seasons. He's aging up as well. I think he's 30 years of age sometime this month. So this is why these are the main factors why I don't want Gareth Bale at Manchester United. But despite the fact that he's injury prone, I think his ratio is still very, very good. He scored 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid and all that, and I think he's created around 64 assists. If he did come back to the Premier League, maybe he would tear the Premier League up and all that. He probably would exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, because obviously he's had experience of playing in the Premier League, because he had 6 years with Tottenham, when he was younger. Obviously he's now been at Real Madrid, 6 years. But Real Madrid, did confirm at the end of the last season, Zinedine Zidane said, Gareth Bale no longer fits his plans at Real Madrid, and he basically declared out in Zinedine Zidane that Gareth Bale has no future at Real Madrid. But basically, according to Gareth Bale's agent, he said that his client has got no intentions of leaving Real Madrid. So I think Real Madrid are doing everything they can, to currently offload him. But reporting now, Real Madrid have given us the choice between Bale and Isco. Plus they're willing to offer us £72 million for Paul Pogba. But like I said, Bale can play on the left. He can also play on the right, and obviously Manchester United are in search for a current winner. But like I said, I wouldn't want Bale at Manchester United. I think there's definitely no better options out there than Bale. Talking about Isco now, like I said with Isco, I think Isco's a really, really good player. Obviously, still got quite a lot of development in him. He's only, I think, 27 years of age. Obviously, Isco has spent the entirety of his career in Spain so far. Obviously, he served 6 years with Real Madrid. I think he's played around 277 games for Real Madrid in all competitions. But like I said with Isco, I think if he came to the Premier League, maybe he would succeed, maybe he would exceed expectation levels. But I just don't think he'd fit our system. I don't think he'd fit our system at Manchester United. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, and this is why he'd be, very, very, this is why I'd be. This is why I probably wouldn't want Isco in, because I just don't think he'd fit our system at Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. Maybe if he was to go to a Manchester City or Liverpool, maybe he would fit their system, but I just don't think he'd fit Manchester United system. I think he's primarily an attacking midfielder. I think he's played in various other positions, when he was younger as Isco, but I think now he plays mainly as attacking midfielder. But Isco has been, subject to quite a lot of transfer speculation, because obviously, last season he enjoyed a difficult season with Real Madrid. Obviously, most of his appearances last season came on the bench, especially under Santiago Solari. So he has been subjected to some transfer speculation and all that. But regardless of Isco being part of any swap deal anyway, he's probably going to cost you around £100 million, maybe even more and all that. I still think he's under contract with Real Madrid until 2022. Obviously, Real Madrid, I think, paid around £27 million for him from Malaga back in 2013, and I think he also began his career with Valencia, so he has spent the entirety of his career in Spain. So reportedly Real Madrid are willing to give us a choice between Bale and Isco, and plus they're willing to offer £72 million for Paul Pogba. Maybe, but I don't probably think, from my own perspective, Manchester United will entertain this offer. We do know Juventus have stepped their interest up in Paul Pogba in the last couple of weeks, as you all know. Obviously, Juventus have been in negotiations with agent, Mini Raiola. Obviously confirmed a couple of weeks ago that the Juventus director had travelled to London, to hold negotiations with Manchester United over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba. And like I did say, Juventus are doing good business in this summer transfer window. Obviously, they've got Adrian Rabiot, I think, on the board. Obviously, they've got Aaron Ramsey and that on the board. Obviously, they haven't got Dillett as yet. But they are doing a very, very good business. Obviously, they got Ronaldo last summer, so probably more than likely, Juventus would have to offload one or two of their essential players, basically, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, reflecting on the huge price tag, that I've put on him, because, like I said, we've indicated that it's not for sale, but we would accept a bid in the region around £150 million and all that. But the Juventus director, recently came out and he explained, of how much, Juventus do love Paul Pogba, because he did have 4 good years in Turin. He exceeded expectation levels, but he hasn't really replicated this, since he did make the return to Manchester United. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him. Obviously, our most expensive signing and all that. But I think Juventus have said, they're willing to offload 1 or 2 of their players, to fund the move of Paul Pogba. He did say, they actually give us a choice, between three of their players. He said, Manchester United can pick one of their three of their players and all that. So I think one of the players they're willing to offer us was Paul Dybala. I think they were also willing to offer us Alex Sandro and all that. But I still believe Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid. But I think it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, to actually build a side around Paul Pogba, to be quite honest with you. But like I said, Paul Pogba's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's 26 years of age. He's currently in his prime, and he's arguably still one of the best midfielders in world football and all that. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his current deal, with an option to extend by a further year. Obviously, it came out the other week saying that we was willing to offer Paul Pogba a long-term contract, worth up to around 500 grand a week, to convince him to stay at the football club. Obviously, as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say he tried to offer Paul Pogba the vice captaincy again in a bid, to convince him to remain at the football club. But he's blatantly made it clear that he wants to leave Manchester United and all that. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club, at least in the last couple of months. But Paul Pogba, we have seen glimpses of his best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager, and that's when we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba. Because he was playing really, really well. He was in scintillating form, he was scoring goals, he was creating, and we only saw the best of Paul Pogba when Ander Herrera was playing. So that just proved how much of an impact Ander Herrera made, when he was at the football club. But he was subject to a lot of transfer speculation last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And obviously Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the club, because Paul Pogba had a poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. I think there was talks about him going to Juventus last year. I think there was also rumours about him going to Barcelona back in January. And yeah, Paul Pogba at Manchester United, he's won the Europa League. Of course, he's won the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in his second season with Manchester United. And I think since he rejoined Manchester United back in 2015, I think Paul Pogba has scored 31 goals in 135 games for the club and all that. But it is still Real Madrid and Juventus that are battling out for his services. So I think Paul Pogba is set to hand in a transfer request and all that. But we knew last month he wanted to leave. Like I said, he's seeking for a new challenge. And basically, Paul Pogba, wants to rejuvenate his career. But like I said, we've got to sell players, to help us generate funds and rebuild the squad. Like I said, Solskjaer did say initially last month he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. I did say, didn't I, on Monday of this week, I did say I expect Manchester United, to complete 2 signings this week. Obviously, my hopes have gone out of the window, because obviously, that's now not going to happen. Solskjaer did say he wants to get at least 1 sign on the board before we do go on pre-season tour in Australia. And I think we actually go on pre-season tour today, if I'm right. It's either today or tomorrow. I will have to, currently look at that up. But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. As you all know, he wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talent and all that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes is following a policy, that proved successful under Alex Ferguson. And obviously, he wants to, Solskjaer's policy is getting the pursuit of young players. And I think we actually are moving away from the policy, of signing them well-established players. But I think our expectations going on to this season probably will be to finish in the top 5. I don't think our expectations will be to win the league or challenge for the league, because obviously analysing it at the moment, City is strides ahead of us, obviously Liverpool is strides ahead of us, and it's very imperative that we catch up with like Manchester City and Liverpool. But I think our aspirations will be that top 5 for the next couple of seasons. But we need to see vast improvements going on to this season, because last season was disappointing. We finished 6th. We didn't win many silverware last season, so potentially was very, very disappointing. We haven't won any silverware in the past couple of seasons and all that. So this is why I did say we've got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer that can elevate us forward and get us back, you know, to being a competitive elite level football club. It's good that we've got, like I said, 2 signs on the board so far. We've got to build on that because there's still lots to address in the squad, and obviously, you know, we've got to revitalise this Manchester United squad and all that. But like I said, who could replace Paul Pogba at the football club and all that? But like I said, you know, we sell Pogba, we sell Lukaku and all that. You know, we'll probably generate around £200 million for their departures because obviously Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku are our 2 most expensive signings. You know, Diamond and Rojo still at the football club, but again, I think we should sell Diamond and Rojo because Diamond and Rojo have both endured difficult times at the football club. Diamond really hasn't been given the chance, and with Rojo, you know, his Manchester United career has been mainly, you know, affected, you know, with the amount of injuries he has sustained. So I believe we can generate around 25 or 30 million pounds, you know, for the departures of Diamond and Rojo. Obviously, we know Valencia's already left the club after he served 10 years with the club. Obviously, we know Ander Herrera, of course, has left on a free transfer. But yeah, we've got to get a replacement for Herrera. We've also got to get a replacement for Paul Pogba and all that. Talking about Sean Longstaff from Newcastle now, I've been updating you about him, of course, on a regular basis. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, said earlier on this week, you know, he basically instructed Manchester United, you know, to get a deal secured for Sean Longstaff. Now, reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, wants to get him on the board. I think it did initially say, you know, we have been giving him a boost in our pursuit of Sean Longstaff, you know, following the departure of Rafael Benitez and all that. And he did say, it has basically said, you know, we are preparing to put our first bid in for Sean Longstaff. You know, that came from Sky Sports the other day. But now there has been a change of scenery because I think Newcastle are reluctant, you know, to offload Sean Longstaff. I think he did reportedly say that Sky Sports News have been informed it's going to cost us more than £50 million, you know, for Sean Longstaff. So Newcastle have said, you know, they want at least around £50 million if they are willing to offload Sean Longstaff. So based on this hefty price tag Newcastle have put on him, maybe Manchester United now, you know, we could actually, you know, withdraw our interest in the current player. He did initially say, you know, we were set to put a bid in of around £15 million. I think at first, before, you know, these, you know, other rumours came out, he said at the first Newcastle value Sean Longstaff from between 25 to £30 million. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, instructed, you know, Manchester United, you know, just to pay, you know, what, you know, Newcastle are demanding and all that. But now reportedly, you know, Newcastle want at least £50 million. And I think Manchester United have been in talks with Newcastle, you know, over getting a deal concluded and all that. And Solskjaer was hopeful that we could get a deal secured for him this week. But he does still say, you know, we are preparing to put our first bid in for Sean Longstaff. He is only 21 years of age. Obviously, he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talent to Manchester United this summer. You know, we probably could see him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But like I said, he's got a bit of experience under his belt. He only last season was his first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. Was his first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. Obviously, I think he made his senior debut in December. I think he played around 11 games last season under Rafa Benitez's guidance, and I think he flourished under Rafa Benitez's guidance last season. I think, you know, he put some good performances in. Obviously, he's got a contract with Newcastle until 2022. I think he's actually, you know, primarily a central midfielder. Like I said, only 21 years of age. And yeah, under contract with Newcastle until 2022. Initially began his career with Newcastle. Obviously, he also had loan spells with Blackpool and Kilmarnock. I still believe that Sean Longstaff is regaining full fitness because obviously, you know, he had sustained a knee ligament injury back in March. So obviously, due to this, you know, he didn't play the remainder. He didn't play the last couple of months of last season. You know, due to this injury he had currently sustained. And I think if he came to Manchester United, you know, he would have, you know, all the ingredients, you know, required, you know, to become a huge success at Manchester United and all that. Well, I am sceptical about if Sean Longstaff comes in. I'm sceptical about him, you know, getting straight into the first team. And the difference is with Bruno Fernandes, you know, if he comes to Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, you know, will be assured, you know, to get straight in the first team. And obviously, Bruno Fernandes is more experienced there than Sean Longstaff. So Newcastle basically now don't want to sell him, and this is why, you know, they are demanding that they want at least around £50 million. Whether Manchester United are willing to pay this, I'm not, I do not know, to be quite honest with you. But I'm not, you know, completely too sure. I'm not too sure if Manchester United are willing to pay it, but Newcastle said, you know, they want at least around £50 million. But analysing it, probably our next two signings are going to be, if we do pay £50 million, Sean Longstaff, is Sean Longstaff from Newcastle and Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now, I've been giving an update about Bruno Fernandes on a regular basis. I think Sporting Lisbon president, reportedly, according to the whistle I've just read, the Sporting Lisbon president, who is Federico Varandas, he has basically now agreed to sell Bruno Fernandes. And he said, I think it was in Sky Sports, was it 2 to 3 days ago, Sporting Lisbon's president said, that there has been talks, with Bruno Fernandes about his future and all that, and he did say, Sporting Lisbon are willing to offload him for around £53 million. So Sporting Lisbon have said, they want over £50 million for him. The fee seems to be the stumbling block at the moment of Bruno Fernandes, making his move to Manchester United, because obviously Manchester United have not yet come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon, because we only want to pay around £32 million for his services, but Sporting Lisbon, have said, they want in the excess of £50 million and all that. So obviously he did say Bruno Fernandes is seduced by Manchester United, and I think he's keen on making the move to Manchester United, because reportedly, we'd offered him around between 4.5 million to 5.3 million a season in wages and all that. This is what we basically offered him, and now he has been seduced by this current offer. Reports came out on Monday. This was coming from the Italian press, and he did say Manchester United held negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' representatives, and he did say, we have agreed the personal terms. Manchester United have reached an agreement with Sporting Lisbon, and we do know it came out earlier on this week that Bruno Fernandes' agent had travelled to the UK to allegedly thrash out a deal with Manchester United for his client. So basically, Bruno Fernandes' agent is looking for the best possible deal for his client. I do believe that Bruno Fernandes' agent has held talks with Liverpool. He's also held talks with Tottenham and all that, because Liverpool and Tottenham are still, I think, in there for his services. Obviously, as reports did mention, earlier on this week, that actually Liverpool and Tottenham had withdrawn their interest in Bruno Fernandes. It did allegedly say that we're the only club in the running now to currently sign Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, reflecting back about 6 or 7 weeks ago, it was looking like Manchester City were going to get a deal concluded for him. But obviously, it confirmed quite a while back, that Manchester City, of course, had withdrawn their current interest. But we do know Bruno Fernandes is one of our priority targets. He has been on our agenda, for quite some time. So it's very, very imperative, that we do get this deal concluded. And I think he would be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. Like I said, Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United is not dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba, because I still think, we are keen on bringing him in. Like I said, he's been at Sporting, he's been a couple of seasons and all that. He's exceeded expectation levels. He scored 31 goals in all competitions last season for Sporting. He's been in around 50 games, so he can score goals, he can create, and if he comes to Manchester United, he'll rejuvenate the team, he'll bring us them goals that we need in that midfield, he'll add depth in that midfield and all that. So yeah, I think he's definitely the right solution for Manchester United. I think Bruno Fernandes did sign a 5-year contract last summer. I think he's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. His initial release clause is around £88 million. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, obviously with the likes of Sampdoria, Udinese, Novria and all that. But I think Manchester United, we've been considered the favourites to sign Bruno Fernandes, at least for the last 3, even 4 weeks, maybe even longer than that. But yeah, we've offered him a decent contract term and all that, but like I said, no fee has yet come to an agreement, so I do believe Manchester United probably will hold more talks over coming to an agreement, and I think, and I believe, we should just pay what Sporting Lisbon are demanding, because look what we did last summer, we paid £50 million for Fred. Obviously, Fred's one of our most expensive players, and, Fred you can't put Fred in, Bruno Fernandes' calibre or level. Fred was a fundamental player at Shakhtar Donetsk. He hasn't really replicated this at Manchester United, and all that, so he hasn't got a fantastic pedigree. Fred did prove himself towards the back end of last season, because he did put some good performances in, but I don't know if Fred, to be quite honest with you, is a long-term solution for Manchester United, so I am, very, very sceptical about that. So I think we should just pay, what Sporting Lisbon are currently demanding, but we're trying to get him, for around £32 million. But Bruno Fernandes, I think, is primarily an attacking midfielder and all that. Only 24 years of age, so I've still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him, but he has been widely spoken about throughout the course of this current window, so hopefully we can get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes sometime next week and all that. So hopefully we can get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes sometime next week. I'm very, very hopeful about that. But like I said, there's been a lot of midfielders on our current agenda, like I did currently say about Saul Niguez. Now reportedly we've identified him as our #1 target, to replace Paul Pogba at the football club. Reports were reflecting out earlier on this week, saying that reportedly we'd identified Saul Niguez as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. I think Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid are reluctant to offload Saul Niguez. I think they're only willing to offload Saul Niguez is if his current release clause is triggered. So obviously Saul Niguez is going to cost you Saul Niguez, of course, is going to cost you a substantial amount of money. He's going to cost a substantial amount because his release clause is around £135 million and all that is Saul Niguez. Obviously, so far he has spent the entirety, I think, of his career with Atletico Madrid. Obviously, I think he graduated from their youth system. He's going to make like over 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid and all that. I think he can play as a central or a defensive midfielder. He's only had 24 years of age. I think he's previously been linked to move to Manchester City and all that. Obviously, Saul Niguez has got a long contract. He signed a 9-year contract a couple of years ago with Atletico Madrid. I still think now he's got about 7.5 or 7 years remaining on his contract and all that. But it does say Manchester United have touched base with Saul Niguez's representatives over the possible move to Old Trafford this summer. So do you think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? Like I did say, the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see James Maddison come in. Now, there has been a lot of talks about James Maddison going on. I think he did allegedly say, that James Maddison is interested in making a move to Manchester United and all that. I think it would be the right solution for the club. He's proven in the Premier League. Obviously, last season was his debut season in the Premier League, James Maddison's. And last season, in his first season in the Premier League, he demonstrated that he can create chances because he created more chances than any other player in the Premier League. He can score goals, he can create and all that. I think he was involved in 14 goals last season. He's primarily an attacking midfielder. But I think reports were coming out about this, was it 3 or 4 weeks ago? It did say if Leicester are willing to offload him, they would want in the region of around £60 million. But he did say the other week that James Maddison allegedly wanted to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he's only 22 years of age, so he has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. And again, I think he would be a fantastic replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, James Maddison played around 36 games in the Premier League last season. He's got 4 years left on his contract with Leicester. Obviously, Leicester did get him last summer from Norwich for around £20 million. He did have a good couple of seasons in the Championship, with Norwich. Obviously, I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen, and he actually began his career with Coventry as a teenager. He was a product of their academy, and I think quite a few teams have been tracking him, since he was a teenager at Coventry. But I like James Maddison a lot. I think if he came to Manchester United, he'd rejuvenate the team. He'd bring his goals that we need and all that. But yeah, I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see him come in. Yari Tillemans, obviously, I think he's nearly out. I think he's out of the equation now. Fully, of him coming out to Manchester United. I think he's now totally out of the equation because it's looking like now Leicester are going to be getting Yari Tillemans, because it did say Leicester are closing in on a £40 million club record deal for Yari Tillemans. So Leicester are willing to pay around £40 million, because I think this is what initially Monaco rate Yari Tillemans at around £40 million. Obviously, he's had about 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League. Obviously, Yari Tillemans had been on loan, with Leicester, since January, and he was very, very good throughout his loan spell with Leicester and all that. And obviously, Leicester have been in talks with Monaco for several weeks and all that, because Leicester did say, even when he was on loan, that they wanted to get him on a permanent deal. Obviously, he has returned to Monaco now. Obviously, he's confirmed he will not be at Monaco next season. But even he still says, Manchester United have, still contacted his representatives over the possible move to Old Trafford this summer and all that. Obviously, Tottenham have also been in for him. Manchester City have been in for him. I think at one point Arsenal were in for him. So he's been subject to quite a lot of transfer speculation as Yari Tillemans, but I think he's going to be going to Leicester. So I think he's totally out of the current equation and all that. So yeah, there's been so many midfielders on our current agenda, so who should replace Paul Pogba, who should replace Ander Herrera, and that is the question I'm currently asking you guys. We definitely need a central defender, we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline and all that. We need someone that can complement Victor Lindelof and someone that can blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline. And obviously there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda. Some people have said it's actually more essential that we get, some new additions in that midfield and a right winner. So they believe that's more essential, you know, than bringing a central defender in. But I think we've got to get a central defender in. We've got issues defensively. You know, that was proven last season, because last season we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League in 38 Premier League games, our highest total in 40 years. So that just shows the issues that we've got defensively and all. And I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans have probably said, you know, we need two central defenders, because obviously the likes of Smalling isn't good enough, you know, Jones isn't good enough, and obviously Smalling and Jones have been too long serving players at the club. Smalling and Jones have been too long serving players at the club, and Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, and they have demonstrated the number of years, you know, they have been at the club, that they can hold the line and all that, and that they can put good performances in. But I just think they're too inconsistent now. You know, they're no longer good enough to represent the club. It was bad business for Manchester United, you know, giving them two new long-term contracts. Obviously, you know, we've got Eric Bailly again, and I think Eric Bailly's got fantastic, you know, potential and all that. I think he's a really, really good centre half. Is Eric Bailly, but like I said, I think his Manchester United career has been affected, you know, with the injuries he's sustained. Obviously, you know, his fallout under managers. I think the media, I think there's been reports circulating around the media, you know, quite recently saying that Arsenal have obviously, you know, inquired about his services and all that. And I think probably Manchester United would be open to selling him. Maybe we would be looking to recoup the initial, you know, £30 million, you know, that we did pay for him from Villarreal 3 years ago and all that. But yeah, I think he's still a very imperative central defender. But quite a few Manchester United fans have said, you know, we need two central defenders, because we haven't had a world-class central defender since we had the likes of Vidic, you know, since we had the likes of Ferdinand and all that. So we need to bring at least one central defender in. So I think now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified, you know, Harry Maguire as his number one defensive target and all that. Now I do believe now we are in pole position, you know, to sign Harry Maguire. Recent reports have confirmed, saying now that Manchester City have pulled out of the race, because obviously, you know, Manchester City are not willing to meet what Leicester are currently demanding for Harry Maguire. And this is why I did say Manchester. I think this is why we are confident now we can outbid Manchester City for his services, and now I think we are in pole position to currently sign him. And I do believe that Mike Phelan has instructed, you know, Manchester United, you know, to complete a move for Harry Maguire. Obviously, Mike Phelan's probably keen on reuniting with the player, because obviously, you know, during Mike Phelan's short time at Hull, you know, he managed Harry Maguire. So Harry Maguire has played under Mike Phelan's guidance and all that. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say early on this week, had, you know, asked our British players in our squad, you know, about their thoughts about Harry Maguire. So he basically asked Rashford, he asked Lingard, he asked Young, he asked Jones, he asked Smalling, he asked all of them, our British players, you know, what their thoughts are on Harry Maguire, because obviously they're going to know quite a lot about Harry Maguire and all that. And I think every one of them, you know, came up, you know, with good remarks about Harry Maguire and all that. So now I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified Harry Maguire as his number one defensive target and all that. And I think, you know, Sir Alex Ferguson, you know, has basically, you know, instructed Manchester United, you know, to sign Harry Maguire. So Alex Ferguson, you know, wants Manchester United to sign Harry Maguire. But as it did report out earlier on this week, you know, from Sky Sports, you know, they said, you know, we'd put a £70 million bid in for Harry Maguire. Obviously, you know, this was too insufficient for Leicester. So basically, you know, Leicester had turned this £70 million bid down and all that. Sky Sports also mentioned that, you know, the talks have been ongoing, you know, between both Manchester clubs and Leicester, you know, for several weeks and all that, but no deal or no kind of no fee has come to any kind of agreement as yet. I do believe Leicester want around 80 or 85 million pounds, but maybe Manchester United are willing to pay this, you know, so we can get a deal concluded for him. Obviously, reports came out towards the back end last week saying that allegedly, you know, we'd ended our interest in Harry Maguire, you know, based on the huge, based on the huge fee, you know, what Leicester are currently demanding for him. He did say last week, allegedly, they wanted around £100 million, wanted £90 million with £10 million in add-ons and all that. So allegedly said, you know, where we'd ended our interest. But reflected back the other week, it was looking likely, you know, City were in pole position to sign Harry Maguire, because it did say City were set to get him for the world record fee of £80 million. Obviously, this would make him the most expensive defender in world football, ahead of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who of course Liverpool paid £75 million for. And it did say City were willing to pay him a salary of around 280 grand a week. But I said talks have stalled, hit a stumbling block, you know, between Manchester City and Leicester, because obviously, you know, City are not willing to pay what Leicester are currently demanding and all that. But looking at ultimately, you know, Leicester don't even want to sell Harry Maguire, because Leicester know how much of an imperative player that Harry Maguire is and all that. And this they don't want to sell him. This is why they've priced him out of the transfer market. This is why, of course, they are demanding an extortionate amount. But I think Harry Maguire would be the right solution for Manchester United. I think he'd blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline really, really well. You know, if he came, you know, Harry Maguire he shows that ability to part from the back. He's very, very good in the air. His distribution's really, really good. His passing ability, is really, really good. I know he isn't really fast, he's Harry Maguire, but I just don't think that is a current issue, and I do believe he'll improve his defensive. He's also Premier League proven, and I think Harry Maguire has indicated out, that he wants to go to one of the top 6 clubs, to obviously rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level. But Harry Maguire has served 2 years there with Leicester. He's made 76 appearances in all competitions. Obviously, 69 of those appearances have come in the Premier League. Obviously, Leicester only paid around £17 million for his services from Hull City. So looking at it from a financial point of view, Leicester, will make a huge profit on the player, if they can't currently offload him. Obviously, he signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with them, I think, until 2023. But like I said, he did serve a couple of years there with Hull, and I think he also began his career with Sheffield United, so he was a product of their academy and all that. And I think I was watching him when he was at Sheffield United, and he was very, very impressive them. So he's flourishing fantastically well, he's Harry Maguire. But yeah, I'd love Manchester United, to recommend him in. Like I said, in this market, this day and age, I'd probably say £70 million is reasonable for a player of Harry Maguire's, calibre and level. For a player like Harry Maguire, I think £70 million is reasonable, but I think over the £70 million mark, maybe Leicester are asking for too much. But I think Manchester United probably just will pay what Leicester are demanding, so we can get a deal, currently conclude for him. But like I said, I think Harry Maguire now is our number 1 defensive target. I'd love him, to come to Manchester United and all that. So he would be a fantastic signing. Obviously, we do know that De Ligt's still definitely on the equation now, as you all know. Obviously, as I was giving you an update on a regular basis, that Matty De Ligt yesterday, it's reportedly said, it's been circulating around the media. It said Manchester United have reportedly reached an agreement with Ajax for Matty De Ligt and all that. And it does mention saying that Manchester United and PSG are reportedly willing to meet Ajax's asking price. So it reportedly says Manchester United and PSG have agreed transfer fees with Ajax for Matty De Ligt. And we do know Matty De Ligt has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation, and the transfer saga does continue to persist about Matty De Ligt. And I did say it's very imminent. He is going to be leaving Ajax. Obviously, I do believe that Matty De Ligt's his first choice preference is Juventus. Obviously, reports are reflected out, I think, was it earlier on this month, that allegedly said that Matty De Ligt had agreed personal terms with Juventus, and he did say Juventus were on the verge of currently signing him. But it has basically confirmed that talks have hit a stumbling block between Juventus and Ajax over the fee, because obviously it's confirmed that Juventus have not come to an agreement on a transfer fee with Ajax. Juventus have reportedly already tabled an offer for him. I think they did put in a bidding of around, was it £50 million, including add-ons, but obviously this is too insufficient for Ajax. So I think Ajax want somewhere in the region of around, is it 60 odd or 70 odd million pounds for the player, but reportedly we're willing to meet what Ajax are demanding, and so to our PSG and all that. So like I said, there's been a lot of teams that have inquired about his current services. Obviously, he had been one of our main priority targets. So yeah, Matty De Ligt, of course, is still on the current equation. Obviously, it confirmed, was it the other week, I think it was, saying that PSG had reportedly offered him a 5-year contract worth up to around 340 grand a week. Obviously, at one point it said, we'd offered Matty De Ligt around a 350 grand a week contract. Obviously, if that would have processed, obviously that'd make him the most expensive player, the most that'd make him the highest, one of the highest players at the club, and also the highest paid teenager in world football and all that. And yeah, so there's been a lot of teams that have inquired about his services. Obviously, Liverpool were in for him at one point. Like I said, the main reason why Liverpool were in for him, because obviously Liverpool had Virgil van Dijk, and of course Liverpool were keen on putting Matty De Ligt alongside Virgil van Dijk in their back line. One point Man City were in for him. One point, Man City were in for him and all that. I think, I still believe that Barcelona are in there for Matty De Ligt, because obviously, Barcelona being considered as one of the favourites. There was one of the favourites before for quite some time. But like I said, talks initially stalled, between Barcelona and Ajax, because obviously, even some reports were speculating, saying that, Matty De Ligt to Barcelona is a done deal, and all. I said the fee had been agreed, but obviously they struggled to come to an agreement on the terms, because obviously, Barcelona were not willing to meet, what De Ligt was demanding and what his agent agent Raiola and that was demanding. So obviously, you know, they couldn't come to an agreement on the current terms. I think also Bayern Munich would also, you know, in for him at one point. So, you know, he has been subject to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. I like Matty Stillett a lot. You know, he's only 19 years of age. Like I said, he's still got a hell of a lot of development in him. And yeah, and I do believe in the next 2 to 3 years' time, you know, he can emulate into like a Van Dijk from Liverpool and all that. So I would love him to come to the Premier League, because I think if Matty Stillett came to the Premier League, I think you know, it would. I think he would exceed expectation levels. Obviously, it would rejuvenate his career. It would, you know, take his footballing career to the next level. You know, Matty Stillett, if he did currently come to the Premier League, and I think he would exceed expectation levels in the Premier League and all that. So far, Matty Stillett has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax. Obviously, he's been an Ajax player since the age of 8, the age of 9. You know, progressed up the ranks. You know, with Ajax and all that. I think he made his senior debut for Ajax in 2016 and all that. And I think he's gone on to make around 117 senior appearances. I think he made his senior debut for the Netherlands at the age of 17. And if I'm right, I think he got named captain of Ajax at the age of 18 and all that. So he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad. Obviously, he enjoyed a very good season last season with Ajax. Obviously, you know, captain them, you know, to their first domestic double in 17 years. Obviously, they also won the device title last season, did Ajax, for the first time since 2014. And of course, he also progressed to the Champions League semi-final. So Matty Stillett can leave Ajax, you know, with his head held up high. I think he's also the only defender as well, you know, to win the Golden Boy Award. I think he actually, you know, won this last year and all that. You know, Matty said, but I like him a lot, and I think he would blend in our backline, you know, really, really well with it to Lindelof. He could still possibly come to Manchester United and all that, but I think he did say quite some time back he wants to go to a club, you know, that can assure him first team football. You know, he wants to go to a club, you know, that can offer him Champions League football. We can't offer him Champions League football, but I think Manchester United, you know, definitely, you know, would be able to assure him, you know, first team football and all that. But yeah, I think definitely, you know, Matty Stillett, you know, would help us with our own rebuilding projects. But yeah, so there's been so many central defenders on our current agenda. Like I said, you know, Koulibaly's been on our agenda. I'd probably say now Koulibaly, you know, is probably out of the equation, because Napoli have reluctant, you know, to offload him. Obviously, at one point, Raphael Varane was on our agenda. But the problem with Raphael Varane is I always thought there wasn't a lot of credibility in Raphael Varane, you know, coming to Manchester United or leaving Real Madrid. I know there was talks at one point that Raphael Varane said, you know, he wanted to leave Real Madrid and all that. But yeah, like I said, nah, not going to happen. And I think he's confirmed anyway, set to remain loyal to Real Madrid at least for one more season. As I've been updating you about Issa Diop from West Ham, obviously we do know he's one of our priority targets is Issa Diop. And looking at it from a financial point of view, you know, Issa Diop, you know, will probably cost, you know, I think he's probably a cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. He would be a cheaper solution than Koulibaly and all that. But I think West Ham have said, you know, they want at least £60 million, you know, if they are willing to offload Issa Diop, because I think looking at it, West Ham, you know, don't want to sell Issa Diop. So reports did suggest out last month saying that we'd allegedly, you know, made a player plus cash offer for Issa Diop. So it did say, you know, we'd offered £45 million, I think it was, and we included Phil Jones as part of the deal, but West Ham didn't entertain this offer, and they instantly, you know, turned this offer down and all that. Reports came out earlier on this week saying that we are set to make our first formal offer for Issa Diop, and it did say we're willing to offer him around £45 million for his services and all that. Did say we're willing to offer around £45 million for his services and all that. Probably this may be too insufficient for West Ham, because West Ham have said they want at least £60 million. But it has come out in the last couple of weeks, you know, saying that we've stepped our interest up in the player and all that. Obviously, last season was his first season in the Premier League. Obviously, last season, I think he played 38 games in all competitions. Obviously, you know, West Ham paid £22 million for him last summer from Toulouse. Only had 22 years of age, so basically, you know, very, very young, very tall, so I do presume he's very good in the air. I think he's a very, very good athlete. So do you think he complement Victor Lindelof in our backline, you know, really, really well? So yeah, there's been so many centre halves on our current agenda and all that. But like I did say, I think, like I keep saying, I think our expectations going on to this season, you know, will be to finish in the top 4, and I think our aspirations in the next couple of seasons, you know, will be at that top 4, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But hopefully, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take us forward, and I hope to say that he's got the abilities and the stature, to get us in that current commanding position and all that. Like I said, we do know the club have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously, we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, and the main factor reason why we've been a toxic club, because obviously, we've been mismanaged, and this is why, this is the main factor reason, why, of course, we have been underachieving and all that. But since Ferguson retired, we've had different managers with different types of philosophies. A hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. Players have come in, and of course, players have gone. But so, regardless of who our manager is, no one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. No, we're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson, for 20 odd years of success, that we did currently have and all that. But I still have a lot of favour in Solskjaer. He knows the club inside out. Was a great player for 11 years for Manchester United. Flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. Has got a bit of experience as a manager, but not really to the highest level and all that. So I probably would give him at least a year, maybe even a couple of years, to see, how it currently works out. Because it's blatantly obvious, we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers. We've already sacked 3 managers, of course, since Alex Ferguson, currently retired. But like I said, there's still lots to address in the squad. I think now David De Gea is going to be staying at the club, because I think reportedly we've offered him around 350 grand a week. I need to read up a bit more what's going on with David De Gea. We know now that, of course, that Juan Mata is staying at the club. I'm very, very sceptical about Alexis Sanchez definitely leaving, because obviously the club are finding it very, very difficult, to offload Sanchez. Basically, it's based on his huge, wages, isn't it? His substantial wages is the problem, to be quite honest with you. And I think we're doing everything we can, to offload Alexis Sanchez, but Sanchez is the highest paid player at the club. Obviously, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League, and I think we're finding it really, really difficult, to currently offload him. But we've got to offload him because he's, one of the problematic players at Manchester United and all that. So I think, we have got to find a way, to currently get rid of him. As I've been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Romelu Lukaku and all that. Obviously, as I did update you yesterday, now it says Juventus have entered the race for Romelu Lukaku, and it does. I think Juventus are actually, planning to hijack Inter Milan's move for Romelu Lukaku and all that. But we do know Lukaku has been relentlessly linked to move to Inter Milan, so he has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation and all that. Obviously, it allegedly came out, where was it, last month? Reports came out last month saying that allegedly that Lukaku had agreed personal terms with Inter Milan. It also said he agreed a deal with them with around £180,000 a week. But obviously, no fee has yet come to an agreement. Obviously, Lukaku's agent did say that Inter Milan are desperate to sign him, but he did say the move the move is complicated, and obviously it's based on the huge price tag we've put on Romelu Lukaku, because we've said we want around 75 or 80 million pounds. Obviously Inter Milan are trying to offload a couple of their players to help them generate funds to meet that 80 million pound valuation. Also Inter Milan have inquired about getting Romelu Lukaku on a 2-year loan, with then the obligation to buy for a further 60 million pounds at the end of the loan and all that. But again, Manchester United are not entertaining this offer. We're only willing to let Lukaku go on a permanent deal. Obviously, we're unwilling to accept swap deals that Inter Milan have offered us. Obviously, we're not we've not entertained them offers. Inter Milan have tried offering us Mario Icardi as part of the deal. They've also tried offering us Ivan Perisic as part of the deal. But again, Manchester United, of course, have turned this down. But I do believe Romelu Lukaku's agent, has been, he's had negotiations with Inter Milan's officials and all that. I think Lukaku's agent is doing everything he can, to try and get his client move to Inter Milan. But we've made it clear, we want around £80 million. So we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for him a couple of years ago from Everton and all that. He has still got 3 years left in his contract at Manchester United as Romelu Lukaku. But Lukaku recently described Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world. So he's keen on playing under Antonio Conte's guidance and all that. Is Romelu Lukaku, and obviously Antonio Conte has identified Lukaku as his #1 target. Reflected back a couple of years ago when Conte was the manager of Chelsea. He wanted Romelu Lukaku at that point, but he ended up making the move to Manchester United. But I think it's very, very essential that we get rid of Lukaku. Like I said, we sell Pogba and Lukaku, our 2 most expensive players. I think we can generate around £200 million for their departures and all that. And I think we need to get rid of Lukaku anyway, because he's one of the problematic players at the club. He's been at Manchester United 2 years. He was exceptional in his first season with Manchester United, was Lukaku, but he didn't really replicate that in his second season, because obviously in his second season with Manchester United, he didn't really get the chance. And since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been recommended in. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice preference has been Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku and all that. So Lukaku is surplus to requirements at Manchester United in his 2-year spell. He scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. So I think his ratio is still very, very good. His pedigree, and that's very, very good in the Premier League. Premier League proven. He's still 26 years of age and all that. So this is why I probably think he's worth between 70 to 80 million pounds. But you do know that I've got strong reservations about him. But it is still Inter Milan battling it out for him. But now reportedly, Juventus have entered the race. But he did admit Lukaku some time back about his dreams playing in the Serie A and all that. But yeah, I think Manchester United need to get rid of him. There has been quite a few players, on our agenda, who could replace, Romelu Lukaku at the football club. So yeah, so like I did say, we know Valencia's left, we know Ander Herrera, of course, was left on a free transfer and all that. But like I said, these are still lots to currently address in the squad. But the main part of this video was to give you the news about Paul Pogba. We do know now he's going to be leaving Manchester United, as his agent, Mini Raiola has confirmed. Like I said, I think we need time to help us generate funds and rebuild the squad and all that, because I think he's the big money spinner, is Paul Pogba, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I know it's going to be hard for us to find a replacement of Paul Pogba's calibre or level and all that, but the money we do generate from his departure, probably could get around, like I said, 2 players at least with that money. But yeah, like I said, still lots to address in the squad. Like I've updated you about Sean Longstaff. Newcastle now want at least £50 million. Whether Manchester United are willing to meet this figure or not, I do not know. We'll have to see what happens. But it still says, we are preparing to put our first offering for Sean Longstaff. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. And if you do consider subscribing, as always, and take care, God bless. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.